Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome, 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 welcome to the night shift. It's a brand spanking new week right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you, each and everyone. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I want to say hello to those locked in on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew on Harmony Radio over there in the UK. Top of the morning to you guys in the UK. One love, one unit. Those on WGLRO, the People Station, taking you from the sheets to the streets with the Donnie Walker Morning Show. No more touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Said it best, stand together and feel alright. But if we fight, let it be for. I want to say big ups to those on PEMGTV.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, those locked in right here at kevinstew.com. Let it be for justice. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. No matter what it costs. You have my word. I wouldn't even try. Kicking it off tonight with China Nicole. Track called Let It Be for Justice.
It is time for us to make peace and stop the fighting. One love, one unity. Got to break the bondage. No more borders around me. No more mental slavery. Bob Marley said it best, stand together and feel alright. But if we fight, let it be for justice. And if we war, let it be for justice. At all costs, let it be for justice. Do what is right. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Inequity, disparities, and violence. Oppression, racism, no, I won't be silent. No more barriers for we. We will thrive, prosperity. Marcus Garvey said it best, none but ourselves can free your minds. But if we fight, let it be for justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. We the people are from royalty. Royalty. I wish so many of us can see. Keep the culture, be united, stop the violence. Put the power in ourselves, create the franchise. In the news last week, another bomb overseas. I'm so sick of these murders in the streets. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice.
I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Let it be for justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be.
And being in a moment is priceless. Get them a call. Pulse gives you innovative streaming and recording solutions. That event that you may be having.
Look at these murders in the streets.
If you want to do something like you see right here on kevinstew.com. And so much more. You have a website you want to create. You have a website already. Looking for a place to host it. Looking for streaming solutions on your website? Give Pulse Media a call, 754-999-6020.
Let it be for justice. Let
or visit them at pulsecmg.com.
what it costs. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Let
I want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you. And in this time of quarantining, you know, you really won't get Althea SU in your place unless she's been there and you've been home from before. But give her a call nonetheless, 954-655-9000. Or email her at thealater@att.net. Thanks also to Reggae Global Entertainment. They can act as your booking agents, take care of your tour management, handle your publishing, your trademarks, your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034.
Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice.
And of course, GMAT Music Solutions. They normally handle our musical therapy. Thanks to them for sponsoring that segment. They provide sound, light, and stage production services. Musicians, singers, DJs, bands, audio engineers, musical equipment, PA systems, and so much more. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622.
Justice, no matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice.
You can also visit them at gmatmusicsolutions.com.
Let it be for justice, no matter what it costs.
And you can do your online shopping there also.
Murders in the streets. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. 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 No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice.
As I connect with my guest for tonight. This is the sound of China Nicole in the background. The track is called Let It Be for Justice. And tonight we're looking to shed some light on this little bit of a situation here. The end result is to get to a point of justice. When you talk about killing more than one bird with one stone, no pun intended. You know, hey. I want to say big ups to all those locked in on kevinstew.com. Those hanging out in the stew pot, welcome.
No matter what it costs, let it be for justice.
Hey Francine,
Inequity,
glad you could join us.
violence, oppression, racism. No, I won't be silent. justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. We the people are from royalty. Royalty. I wish so many of us can see. Keep the culture, be united, stop the violence. Put the power in ourselves, create the franchise. In the news last week, another bomb overseas. I'm so sick of these murders in the streets. Ooh, why I? Ooh, why I? Why I? Why I? But if we fight, let it be for justice. And if we want, let it be for justice. At all costs. Let it
Having some difficulty here connecting.
do what is right. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. No matter what it costs, let it be for.
So in the meantime,
Let it be for justice.
I can bring you guys up to speed
Let it be for justice. No matter what it costs.
with some information here.
Let it be for justice. Why I? Let it be for justice. Why I? Let it be for justice. Let it be for justice. Why I? Let it be for justice.
Okay, not getting through to Scott right now. So let me bring you up to speed. Before his trial, Rodney Reed's defense identified at least 10 people who claimed knowledge of his affair with Stacey Stites. Most were family members and friends, and some had criminal records. Reed's trial lawyers only called 2 to the stand. Chris Aldridge, a cousin of Reed, was ready to testify to several encounters with Rodney and Stacey. He also claimed that before Stacey's death, he and Reed were confronted by a pair of police officers, one of whom was Fennell, out of uniform. And he told Rodney that he knew about him and Stacey's and him and Stacey, and that Rodney was going to pay. That's what Aldridge said. Now, most of us had not heard this bit of information, but it exists. Now, at the scene, there were 2 beer cans that were found near where Stacey's body was. And they were taken to a DPS lab with other evidence from the crime scene and swabbed for DNA. One of the swabs matched a DNA sample from Fennell's good friend, Officer David Hall. And this was potentially explosive information, suggesting Hall had been at the scene and could have helped Fennell get back to his apartment after Stites' body was dumped. A swab provided to the defense team could not match Hall's DNA. The prosecution withheld what it knew about the beer cans until after the trial, which they claimed was unintentional. Judges agreed and deemed the information irrelevant to the jury's decision. How exactly, I am not sure. However, they said, all right, this bit of information would not change the jury's decision. For me, it not changing the jury's decision only states, it only helps to paint the picture of the climate at the time. And when I say climate, I mean Texas justice. Here you have a black man on trial for the killing of a white female. So basically, you're looking at black versus white, and you know who is going to lose, right? So if the consensus is that it's not going to change the decision of the jury, then there must be a reason other than the information, because in order to be found guilty, it's supposed to be without reasonable doubt, right? Right? That's what gets you off. Okay, so here you have the two beer cans, and now you have the potential for someone else being there. Ed Salmela. This is where Ed Salmela and Joe Bryant comes into the picture. Ed Salmela, a Bastrop police officer assigned to investigate Stites' murder, was acquainted with Fennell. Now, Jimmy Fennell, for those of you who don't know, was Stacey Stites' fiancé. Police officer, white, and a really bad temper. Salmela's DNA, like Hall's, had initially also been identified as on one of the beer cans. 6 months into the investigation, Salmela killed himself, reportedly because of a failing romantic relationship. His brother, Scott, never accepted this explanation of Salmela's death. Around the same time, another colleague of Fennell's, Giddings police officer Joe Bryant, began his own unauthorized investigation into Stites' murder. His wife later stated that Bryant told her he believed Fennell had killed Stites. Bryant was subsequently found shot, purportedly by a migrant worker. All right. Here's the thing about the migrant worker. That migrant worker was said to have been deported. Now you tell me. Someone is arrested. So now he's in custody. And this someone is said to have killed a police officer. This is not a diplomat. It is just some migrant. And this person is going to be released. Sorry, not released. Deported. After killing a police officer? Seriously? Okay, so let's say they were deported. Any records of this individual other than a name? Nothing? So, more questions, and questions on top of questions on top of questions. The problem is we're not getting answers. And the answers that we're getting are just subpar. Let me see if I can get connected with Scott again as we talk here. I spoke with him earlier. I don't know what's happening, to be honest. So, yeah. Joe Bryant was said to have been killed by this migrant worker. This migrant who was then... I'm still getting voicemail from Scott. Crazy. All right, so Bryce Benjett, for those of you who have been following the case, is no longer the defense attorney for Rodney Reed. Bryce Benjett has sought DNA testing on the murder weapon, the braided leather belt found in fragments near Stites' body. For the past 5 years, along with numerous other pieces of evidence, appeals, judges have refused, saying that even finding Fennell's DNA on the belt would not have caused the jury to change its verdict. Prosecutors argue the belt has been improperly handled over the years and would no longer produce reliable evidence. In August, the Innocence Project, not this past August, but the Innocence Project filed a federal civil rights lawsuit over the refusal to test the belt. In this case, if this case were investigated today, Benjet said, the murder weapon would unquestionably have been tested. It simply makes no sense that the state would attempt to execute a person without conducting the basic forensic investigation. Let's pause. Last week, I had the sister of Julius Jones and his best friend. So Antoinette Jones, Julius's sister, and Jimmy Lawson, his best friend and family spokesperson, were my guests. And one of the pieces of evidence that was used against Julius in the Paul Hull murder is the bandana that was found in his house and the gun, the murder weapon. When they tested the bandana, well, first of all, they didn't want to test the bandana. Then they finally tested the bandana, and it's inconclusive because there was other bits of DNA on the bandana. So here you have one case where they said they're not admitting the belt as evidence because it was improperly handled. In another case, so this is in Texas. In Oklahoma, you have a case where they found a bandana in a room which DNA could have gotten on that bandana from anything in that room. And since it was improperly handled in the first place, because they found some of Julius's DNA on the bandana, they're saying, hey, listen, he's guilty because his DNA is on this bandana. Huh? Really? But I guess it's different in different parts of the country, how the law works and things that are admitted into law. I could be wrong. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can jump into the stew pot as so many have already. Thank you guys for joining us. For those of you who don't know, the stew pot is where we keep things interactive. Others call it a chat room, but because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com, it's the stew pot. For those of you joining in on Facebook, it's only temporary. Don't get too comfortable. Thank you. I got some comments here. They didn't allow Chris Aldridge to testify. He was told to go home when he showed up to testify for Rodney's alibi. Judge Towsley was part of the cover-up too. He also presided over Anthony Graves' trial when he was wrongfully convicted and had the same court-appointed lawyers as Rodney did. Here it is. The name. You see, I love some of these people that I interact with. The name of the migrant worker who was deported, Hector Nepes Manuel Mata Mota. You want me to say it again? Hector Manuel Matas Mota. He doesn't exist. Figment of the imagination. Poof, gone. And it's just crazy because for those of you who have been following with previous shows that I have addressed bits and pieces of the Reed case, and tonight is not specifically about the Reed case, but it is connected to the Reed case. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to get David Fisher back on right now, anything relating to the Reed case he cannot really address Why? Because 2020 is doing a special, and until they get their special done, a part of their agreement is he is unavailable. So he can't come on right now. But look out for it, he'll be back. You know, he's family here. So, right. There's no mugshot that is available of this migrant who killed a police officer allegedly. Now, there are some things about Ed Salmela's death that really leaves the mind boggled. And we're going to touch on some of those things in just a moment. We're going to take a quick little break. Normally I wouldn't, but since I'm still trying to get a hold of Scott right now, which is really mind-boggling to me, since we spoke earlier, yet again, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we talk some more. Call a friend, tell a friend. As we go through this, you want to find some more information, go ahead. You can look it up. The information is there. We'll be talking. I invite you to share with me. Those of you who can, you want to share some of your views on this, feel free to call in. All right? We're going to be right back after these messages.
Pulse Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
I'm Khalib Thompson.
And I'm David Muir.
And we are the co-founders of a cultural nonprofit in Florida called Island Space.
For many reasons, now more than ever, we need the support of our communities.
As Caribbean Americans, we have the unique ability to claim everyone from the island as members of our Caribbean American family.
We are working to create a home for that family.
The Island Archives will become an internationally recognized museum of history.
Visitors can learn that although we are unique, we are truly stronger together.
Learn more at islandspacefl.org.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, that Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com, your links to worship and praise.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Wow, DJ Kevin's Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Stew believing, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christina. It's a hot it up loud. The beast.
Welcome back, each and every one. Thank you for sticking around. Listen, I must apologize. I cannot get a hold of Scott. I don't know what happened. We spoke earlier. He said, "Yo, I'm ready. I'll be on." I don't know what happened. I do hope he's okay. So, in the meantime, in between time, we're gonna jump off Facebook Live. Thank you guys for tuning in, those on Facebook Live. Come on over to kevinstew.com. We're gonna talk some more about this based on what we already know, and see if we can make heads or tails of some of the decisions that they have made coming out of Texas as it relates to Ed Salmela's alleged suicide. I have to chuckle each time I say it because it doesn't make sense. So, Facebook Live, deuces, you all take care. Jump on over to kevinstew.com where the conversation, well, the true conversation continues. Okay, so, all right. Call in if you can, 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. And thanks again to Althea SU and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show. All right, so here it is. Ed allegedly committed suicide, right? So he shot himself in the temple. There are a few things that is wrong with this story. One of them is he shot himself in the left temple. Ed was right-handed. That's the first telltale sign for me. The next thing is he didn't have any guns. He turned in his guns to the police department about a day and a half before this incident happened. He was accused of terroristic threats and behaviors towards his girlfriend. So, well, his ex. She accused him of threatening to beat her up. And so, by law, he had to turn in his guns. And he did that. Also, there were things that he had planned to do on the day that he got killed. Yes, I did say got killed. And you can, this is information that is out there also, if you know where to look for it. But he got home, he spoke to his neighbor. The neighbor said about an hour later, he heard a gunshot. Went knocking on Ed's door, no answer. Tried the door. It was locked. He went back to his home, to his apartment, called the police. When he came back, there were 2 police officers there. The door wasn't kicked in. So, how did they get in? Here's the thing. One of the police officers actually used to live there. He was a roommate of Ed. So, this is Rocky Wardlow. Now, Rocky also, funny enough, was the lead investigator in the Stites case. He wasn't a Bastrop police officer. He was a Texas Ranger. See how the plot thickens. Now, if you don't remember and you choose to look back at previous shows, you can check November for the show with David Fisher. And David talks about this. The staging of Stacey's murder. And the fact that it was done by professionals. And in this case, the professionals that did it were police officers. They were law enforcers that had staged this whole thing. And of course, with the beer cans there, you have now you have evidence pointing towards just that. So I was talking to Scott, and Scott said, my brother really didn't kill himself. He said 2 things in that conversation, that dialogue. He said, 1, Rodney Reed is not guilty. Rodney Reed didn't kill that girl. And 2, he said, my brother didn't kill himself. Because he couldn't use his left hand. He was right-handed. His left hand was too shaky. So, shooting himself in the left temple, though it's not unheard of, it wouldn't have been done. If you want something done right, you're going to want to do it the best way possible. He's right-handed. He's going to do it with his right hand. The other problem is, where was he going to get the gun? He turned in his guns. The gun that he allegedly used was the gun that he turned in. Now, there's documented proof of it being turned in. Not only that, there was a witness that saw him turn in the gun. There was a lady there that was at the police station, and she remembers because they had about at least a half an hour long dialogue after he did it, after he turned in the guns. I think it was 2. So, where did he get the gun? Not only that, why wasn't that brought up? Why wasn't that investigated at all when looking at his alleged suicide? Some questions that I was hoping that Scott could address. But alas. I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful. All right, so there's that side of it. So he killed himself. The door was locked. The neighbor came back and saw 2 cops inside the apartment. Scott had the job of cleanup. Now, there was also a phone call that Scott took about from a young lady that said, is Ed there? And he shared the news of Ed's departure. And she is like, okay, then that would explain it, because we had a date. Not only that, Ed had withdrawn some money from the bank, from an ATM, and he had dropped off some laundry at a laundromat to be picked up about an hour later. So, if he's going to kill himself, why do laundry? Why take out money out of his bank account? Why have plans for a date? And those things just don't add up when it comes to someone killing themselves. What you pretty much want to look at with someone killing themselves is, are they depressed? Have they been drinking? Have they been speaking negatively? Have they been a recluse lately? These are the telltale signs that you want to be looking for. Not someone making plans to go on a date. Not someone withdrawing funds and having it available to go on this date. So, you have these whys and how comes. And it's these things that Scott has been holding on to and saying, it just doesn't add up. And rightly so, it does not add up. That 1 and 1 does not equal 2. You might get 11 out of it, but you're not getting 2. So, in the mix of it all, Bryant, his wife, and someone had mentioned Lisa Tanner. Now, Lisa Tanner is shady at best, because when Lisa Tanner is going to say, and Bryant's wife mentioned getting a call from Lisa Tanner stating, hey, you know what? There was another set of DNA, another bit of DNA, there was another DNA set strain that was pulled from the beer cans. It could have been yours. Now, you have a prosecuting attorney on your phone saying to you, hey, maybe, just maybe, the DNA that we found is your DNA. So, are you going to be quiet, or do we need to come after you too? That's the kind of impression that is left when you hear something like that. That's what I get from it. And pretty much that's what she got from it too. She saw it as a threat. And when it comes to people at the highest rank, when it in the judiciary, sorry. You can only get worried about your well-being. If they could pick up an innocent man and say, you committed this crime and you are going to fry for it, and it is not the first time that they have done it, Because clearly they are seasoned in the arts of arresting and charging and imprisoning innocent people. This is Texas. Not only is it Texas, but you're talking about Bastrop County. And Bastrop County, based on the information that I have received over the past almost year now, it's not pretty when you look at the authorities, those who swore to protect and serve. It's not pretty, because there's a lot of cover-ups from the judge to the attorneys to the medical examiner. Yeah, we can't leave him out. Roberto Bayardo. This guy here is boy, I don't even know what to call him. Get this. Almost as soon as Bayardo's testimony was used to convict Rodney Reed, the Travis County medical examiner began walking it back. Bayardo had autopsied Stites' body the day after it was found and discovered 3 sperm cells. 3? 1, 2, 3. In a condition that he testified at trial supported the state's connection that Stites had been raped around 3 a.m. 3 sperm cells. 1, 2, 3. He also testified that she'd been sodomized. Bayardo's testimony was backed up by experts from DPS and from the out-of-state lab that performed the DNA analysis, all of whom agreed that sperm could not survive in the vagina longer than 24 hours. By 2012, Bayardo had completely recanted his testimony, acknowledging the accepted science that sperm can survive for 3 or more days in the body. He noted that his finding only 3 surviving sperm cells was consistent with the defense's claim of a much earlier sexual encounter between Stites and Reed. All right. So, at the time of the trial, he says, hey, listen, we found 3 sperm cells. Sperm is not going to stay alive longer than 24 hours, so it couldn't have been earlier than this time. Okay, so if it did happen at that time, why is it only 3 sperm cells? Shouldn't it have been more? So Rodney what? Firing blanks? What's going on? So that was part of the problem. Now we've heard where information based on Bayardo's initial autopsy, and he's been one to write multiple autopsies for the same case. You can check it out. You don't have to take my word for it. The information is there. So not only that, if you check Bayardo's history, he had been doing autopsies for other counties and getting financial kickback. That's a no-no. However, he could do it. And he got to do it. And he did it repeatedly. Not only that, his caseload was ridiculously high. So where the amount of cases that other MEs would have in a 1-year period, this man was clearing in like 2 months. Something ridiculous numbers like that. And I'm like, what's going on here? How do they allow this to happen? Well, if you have a good old boys network, then they can do whatever they want to do. So here you have the chief medical examiner, Crooked, doing an autopsy in a murder case where the fiance of the victim has been heard to say that he would kill his fiance if she ever cheated on him again. He actually said he would strangle her. So she's dead. He has said that his alibi for that night was weak, saying that they went to bed early and he didn't know when she left to go to work. I don't buy it. Especially since after that, he was not only arrested, but charged and did time for kidnapping and rape. And the victim was, though not killed, basically ended up in a similar place as to where they found Stacey's body. So you have these consistencies. And again, terrible tempo. You want to tell me that none of this was taken into consideration during the investigation? Well, of course not, because it's a good old boys club. What I believe happened with Ed is initially he was going along with his brothers, the fellow police officers. But then something just didn't sit right with him. And what I learned about Ed from talking to Scott is this guy pretty much played things by the book. He was that kind of a cop. So with him getting involved in something like this, then it would not sit right with him. And he wasn't going to go along with it for long. When Rocky Wardlow, needed a place to rest. So he was between living quarters, I guess. He needed a place to stay. He stayed with Ed. And so he had a key to Ed's apartment. Ed is dead. The door wasn't kicked in. 2 police officers are there. Not only that, but Rocky ends up being the investigating officer in this case. Now, I get it. He is Texas Ranger. Ed is local police department. So you would go with, I guess, depending on the situation, the Texas Ranger would be taking over the investigation. Or depending on the jurisdiction that he fell under at the time based on where he lived, whatever it is. There was also the case of the situation where there was gunpowder testing to be done. So you want to do gunshot residue test. Rocky says, "Hey, I don't have any kits." Again, we have another problem. Because for him to say we don't have any kids, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Ed lived 2.5 minutes drive from the police station. There were kids over there. Why not go to the police station and get a kit and come back? Or if you don't want to go, send an officer or radio for a kit to be brought over. No, that didn't happen. Not only that, Scott, like I said before, Scott had the job of cleanup. But they took the couch and said it was too gruesome for the family. Are they that considerate? Really? Too many inconsistencies. Too many questions. Too little answers. And they continued. And when I say they, I mean all of them. Because you also have a judge on this case without oaths. Where does that happen? Catch this. Actually, no, it's break time. I need to take a quick break. When I come back, I tell you a little bit about the judge on the case, Judge Doug Shaver. And we'll talk a little bit about him. And you'll see how all the moving parts seem to point at each other and toward one common thing. We're gonna see in a little bit. It's community and finance, and tonight we're kind of looking not too deep, since Scott is not able to join us tonight. We're looking at the death of Ed Salmela. You know, really and truly, someone killed Ed. We don't know who, but someone did. And Scott really believes that if we can find who killed Ed, then the Reed case also gets solved. Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we talk a little bit more. When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
the only thing I didn't learn in school today.
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
A social distancing tip. While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Hey yo, this is Caramanti letting you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the Night Shift. Don't move.
Change has come to America.
Everyone's crying out for change like it's a sin. Needless to say, change starts from within. Each one, teach one, run, tell a friend. That's the only way to get the cycle to end. The chain is as strong as its weakest link. Third eye blind, blink, open your mind, think. Knowledge is power, and you hold the key. Don't you want to be free? How can we fail if we never begin? Let's rewind and come again. Let's take it back to where it all began. Mama Africa, 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 the motherland. Kings and queens with royal blood. Now, we're just diamonds lost in the mud. In a system they made, designed to keep us confused, afraid, and enslaved.
Change has come to America.
It's a circus, manipulated for their purpose. A mandate designed by hate, set up to separate. We're caught in a trap like bait. Since 1812, it's true. Ask Jerry, you never knew? It's all trumped up, rigged. We're swirling in a whirlwind, spinning like a gig. Political arena, this shit is big.
Change has come to America.
Fight and conquer, while their pockets get stronger. The question we should ponder, how much longer? They're just in it for gain, while we suffer hurt and shame, continually taking the blame. Up against the wall, divided, we shall fall.
Change has come to America.
They say we have nothing to lose. It's full time we choose. Love or hate, it's not too late. Stronger together, let's keep the faith.
This is the sound of Sharon Corinthian.
Change has come to America.
The track is called Change.
Jay-Z made it clear on his album titled 444. Whether you shine cutlery or carry a rake, light skin, dark skin, real brother or fake, the fork that divides us is the wrong road to take. My people, this bad pie we bake, making so many mistakes, our lives are at stake. It's time we awake. Slumber nor sleep, we're running out of time. Only we ourselves can free our minds. Change is a must, but it's up to all of us. We're getting nowhere on this bus. Look behind the past game. Do we not look for what's to blame? Doesn't take a genius to see the results will be the same. Now is not the time to unwind. Come, stand up, join the line. There's strength in numbers, undivided. We must all stand hand in hand, united. Remember,
change has come to America.
No matter our varied roots, the haves and the have-nots, it's the truth. We're still all considered black. That's a cold, hard fact. Don't need Johnny Cochran to defend that. Where we always seem to go wrong, we just can't seem to all get along. We're still following their blueprints.
Change has come to America.
Even as they line us up for fingerprints. My people, are you colorblind? Can't see? In the dark? Left behind? Too busy holding on to the myths, the lies, allowing them to break our bonds, our ties. His story, that's what we've been fed. It's time to stop eating that daily bread. Let it go, it's dead. Some are privileged, so they're always right. 3 strikes, I'm out, on lockdown, good night. It's a constant battle, a daily fight. Out on the street, a brother's lucky if he makes it home every night. The system is dread, earth I run red. Time for we grab the snake and chop off its head. We must cut it out from the root. Stand up, speak truth, or there'll be no future for our youth. Hands up, don't shoot.
I want to welcome you back to the show. Big ups to each and every one of you who stuck around and decided to keep me company tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In spite of not getting to be told the full story. Just now you heard from Sharon Corinthian, poet extraordinaire. I haven't played one of her pieces in quite a while, but I felt this one was needed. So before we went on the break, I mentioned the judge presiding over the case, Judge Doug Shaver. So let me tell you some things here. This according to the Austin Chronicle. And this information was just this past November. The November 2019 was at the Austin Chronicle. Judge Shaver was already retired from his Houston bench when in May of 2014 he was appointed as a visiting judge to preside over a one-day hearing in the Reed case. That appointment did not include an end date, so Shaver has presided over the case ever since, hearing testimony, ruling on motions, signing orders, including Reed's execution warrant in July. This was a move that Benjet has now challenged in court. Well, prior to him leaving the case. In August of 2019, Shaver asked that his name be removed from the roster of judges available for assignment, calling into question his own competency. Quote, "I believe that I am still in excess condition, mentally and physically. But I have been in fear that I would or would not do something that could affect the outcome of some important legal matter." Now, that's as ambiguous a statement as you can pretty much get as far as I'm concerned. You're saying what exactly, Judge Shaver? You could or couldn't, you may or may not do something that would jeopardize the outcome of a legal matter. This is an important legal matter. This is someone's life. And you dropped the ball. But you know what? I can't blame you, as you're a part of a system that is already corrupt. Either that or you corrupted the system. Lisa Tanner, using 1, intimidation tactics, 2, hiding evidence or withholding information from the defense team. We saw that happen in the Julius Jones case. This happened, what, 3 years? No. Yeah. Because Rodney has been on death row for about 23 years now. Julius has been on for about 20. So this is something that has been going on during that time, and it seems to have been the thing to do. We saw it happen with the Central Park 5. No, the exonerated 5. And it's like the more we hear it, the less effective it is. It's like we've become desensitized to it, to the corruption. And it's almost like we expect it to happen. We expect to hear about it. This is corruption at the highest level. You're talking about, so no, you can go to court, and where you would expect to be charged or be found guilty beyond reasonable doubt, it only takes a little bit of doubt to find you guilty. That's crazy. But it seems to be the thing that has been going on, because here it is, there's doubt. And again, who testified on Rodney's behalf? His family wasn't allowed to testify. They were sent away. Who got to testify in Julius Jones's case? His family wasn't allowed to testify. They didn't get an opportunity. But over and over, time and time again, you hear the same thing. There's an alibi. In Julius' case, he was home with a family. And at the time of the shooting, the time that it would take for him to get from his house to the place of the scene of the crime, it's just not possible. But yet still, he's doing time. He's actually on death row, fighting for his life. Just because they wanted someone to pay. And they cut deals so that they could have anyone. Again, things that don't add up. Why would someone who's on a full scholarship want to be going out committing a crime like this? Yeah, he was no angel. Which of us are? Which of us is? You know, and so here with Ed, he was no angel. He had a situation with his ex, and allegedly there was some letter written by this ex that would have made him so depressed that he would want to kill himself. But nobody has seen this letter. Where is it? Lisa Tanner, where's the letter? Is it your letter? Maybe it was from your ex. And you're just projecting your own relationship onto this case. Ed wasn't depressed. Ed wasn't sad. In fact, he had some vacation time and some vacation money still coming to him, although he got fired by this point. He wasn't on the job anymore. But he wasn't depressed. He was living it up. So, what's his reason for killing himself? Not only that, how did these police officers get into the apartment without breaking down the door? How did he end up shooting himself in the left temple when he's right-handed? And how did he do it with a gun that he turned in? You know, I wish I had pulled it up and made it a part of my information for tonight's show. There's a document that was sent to me. Now, this is a document from the police department which shows where Ed had turned in his guns. I do have the document. So, how did he use any of these guns to kill himself? Doesn't that now point a light over at the Bastrop Police Department? Or whichever law office it was that he turned in the weapons to? Doesn't it now say, hey, listen, these people over here, they're not too straight. They're kind of shady because here it is. There are guns that should have been locked away that are not. Why not? Why aren't they locked away? What are we not being told? Too many loose ends. Too many what ifs. And so you have a family, one family that actually you have multiple families waiting for answers. A few months ago, we had a cousin of Stacey Stites, Heather Campbell Stubbs, as our guest, and she's like, you know, at first when I heard that they have Rodney in custody, that he needed to fry. But then I got more information, and I don't see where he could have done it. He could have, but he didn't. And saying that he could have is just like saying that the milkman did it. He could have, but he didn't. So, the cover-up on top of the cover-up on top of the cover-up. So now you have a police officer getting covered up by Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers getting covered up by state prosecutors. State prosecutors getting covered up by a sitting judge with no oath. So who's covering the judge? The Attorney General? The governor? Who is covering? How far does this corruption go? Because one thing is for sure. Corruption is, if it was a paint pan, that can would be empty because all the paint would have spilled out. That's how much corruption we're talking about. Everything is all over the place. It's just one mess. And cover up on top of cover up on top of cover up to cover up the cover up. But they're sloppy. And not only are they sloppy, but intelligent people are looking into these records and realizing that these two don't connect. You should have a plug and a socket. Why do you have two plugs? They don't connect. But what? We just let it ride. Because it's the thing to do. You know, whether it is one black person or another, what's the big deal? So now we end up, here we have one black person on death row in the person of Rodney Reed for the death of a white person in the person of Stacey Stites, where their relationship was one of love, or at least loving to be in each other's company. If they didn't love each other, at least they loved being in each other's company. If not, then they wouldn't have been meeting up. A jealous partner, a jealous, short-tempered partner, in the case of Jimmy Fennell, with the means to, one, commit the crime, and two, cover it up. Why wasn't there a whole lot more talk about Stacey's body in the vehicle? Okay, so her body is in the vehicle. Rodney had time to dump her body in this wooded area and then drive the vehicle to park it at the school? So why was one initial report that there was a bag of clothes or bags of clothes in the vehicle, and then the bags of clothes found in the dumpster by a different police officer? You know, again, bits of information from here and bits of information from there, and the bits of information not really adding up. But we're just supposed to buy it because the police officer said, hey, listen, we are the police and we got this information and this has been our findings, so it is true. Okay, you're police, but you're also people. And people do cover up for other people. Especially if they have something on them. So you have something. I remember I was in primary school. And at the time, I said something quite inappropriate to one of my female schoolmates. And one of my male schoolmates heard it. And blackmailed me. I remember this. And I had to be giving these guys money. It was two former friends of mine, and we all talking slick. But it just so happens that I was following them talking slick, and they just flipped it on me and said, "Ooh, Kevin said." And I am going to tell unless you give us money. Now, poor me, I didn't get that much money in the first place. I had to be taking my money, giving it to them. And this happened for almost a year. So, they had something on me. At least in my head, they did. And in order for it to not come out, I had to pay them hush money. Until it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Bump that. Let's tell it all. If I'm getting in trouble, everybody getting into trouble. And I don't know how I didn't get. Back then, you could get caned. I didn't get caned. They did. For blackmailing me. Or did I get caned for what I said? I do remember them getting caned though. I probably did get caned for it. I should have remembered because it would have been one of the rare times that I actually did get caned. I'm trying to remember if that was what I had gotten caned for when I got it. However, the bottom line is they had something on me, and in order for me to not let it get out, I had to go along with what they wanted. So, if these guys had something on any of the other police officers, in order for it to not get out, they would go along with it. And again, none of us are innocent. We all have a skeleton here or there in our closets. Doesn't the possibility exist that somebody had something on somebody and it just snowballed? And now the person that had the handle is now holding on to just another section of the blade because they painted themselves in a corner, and apparently now this blade has no handle and it's just all blade, and everybody stands to get cut. Now it's just a matter of creating a blade. Creating a handle. So they have to take handle of the situation. Those loose ends have to get tied up. Ed Salmela was a loose end. And I'm going to try and see if I can get in touch with Joe Bryant's wife, with his widow. I'm going to try. And the show will go on, and we'll continue from there. Because this one case has so many other cases as a part of it. This one case, the death of Stacey Stites, has the alleged suicide of Ed Salmela, which, from all indication, is a murder and cover-up. And the case of Joe Bryant, which, just like Ed Salmela, is a case of a murder with a cover-up. But these are part of the Stacey Stites murder. But it doesn't stop there. Because in that you have the case of Lisa Tanner, a corrupt prosecuting attorney. And you have the case of Doug Shaver, a corrupt judge. And you have the case of the Texas judicial system, a corrupt system. Who comes in to clean up? So all these cases, and this is why, in my estimation, this is why it is so important for them to go ahead with Rodney Reed's execution. Because you put him down and hopefully everything else goes down with him. I'm pretty sure that's how they see it. Is it actually how they see it? I don't know. But how far off would I be with that assumption? And I'm not one who revels in assumptions, because you know what assuming does. And I wouldn't like to be considered to be a beast of burden. I don't even like carrying a secret. Much less to be carrying any other burden. Come on. Let's see what we can do to expose all of this. Let's get it out. And let's get justice. Let's get justice for Stacey. Let's get justice for Rodney. Let's get justice for Ed. Let's get justice for Joe. Because they deserve it. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're going to do a little bit of a musical therapy. Those of you just jumping in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Big ups to Marlon, host of Real Rockers. You can catch Marlon on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 right here. For those listening in on One Harmony Radio, you catch him. You don't have to go anywhere else. Just stay on One Harmony Radio. But Marlon is on so many platforms. Just follow him on social media. Real Rockers Radio. Real, ROCKAZ. Or if you're Jamaican, Z. Real Rockers Radio. Thank you guys for sticking around. I do apologize for Scott not being around. I really hope he's okay. I'll let you know tomorrow night. Hopefully he is. I'll try reaching out to him in the morning to see if everything is okay. But outside of that, we need some musical therapy.
Of course, it will get better. Of course.
This is a Twiggerific one. This is Twiggy. The track is called Don't Give Up.
Away from it. Don't you quit. Cannot play with it. Don't give up. I am asking you to stay upon it.
I got you, 2466.
Don't you ever walk away from it.
Hello, 2468.
Cannot play with it. Don't give up. You gotta know some talent. You never borrow it. No
Blessings, Bobby.
Can't get you out. Tell them don't even try. And they better go repent. Live your life as it was ordained. It will be sometime not, but most time rain. Easier said than done when you're the one who is feeling the pain. So you have to pray upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play.
Thank you very much, 52.
I am begging you to stay upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. And keep throwing the towel or feeling blue. 'Cause one day you're gonna end up be the victor too. Just be brave, my sisters, my brothers, I'm talking to you. Your reward will be great if to yourself you'll only be true. But you won't be pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. Pray upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. Shoop, shoop, shooby-dooby-doo. The wagon is and we won't come follow you. Give thanks for everything. Success and favor your hard work will bring. Hey. Shoop, shoop, shooby-dooby-day. Everything up we run out of your way. It's now time to win. Tear them blocks down, now back down, 'cause every time I'm them, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. Stay upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. Stay upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it. Don't you quit, cannot play with it. Don't give up. Stay upon it, pray upon it. Don't you ever walk away from it.
son of Phil Watkins.
A lot of people never wake up this morning.
Check it's called Today.
Live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed judge a warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. So if you live to see another day, I tell you don't forget to pray. Jah bless you with His mercy. Another chance to right the wrongs from the choices that you've made. Love will guide you upon your journey. Life is much better when you know what it's worth. Let every step count, let every move work. Here today, tomorrow, say your day and a leader. So set your mind and good living. With that you be flirt. Waste your day seeking vanity. Flesh thing now go work. Walk fast from dirty liberty road that you know feeler. It best to wear a smile than to wear a dirty smirk. Remember we put Jah first. A lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jah warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. Give thanks and praise, we still fortunate. Work a breeze, spread the message, cause we still have blow breath. Life, no promise on the road where we check, but Jah never failed me yet. Rise up in the morning giving thanks. With life, I have a special romance. Me and good health a slow dance. Thank you, Jah, for giving me a next chance. You see the sun, you feel the breeze, you feel the forest. Now take life for granted. You live another day of a million no morning. As Jah has come, a lot of people never wake up this morning. Never live to see today. Oh, the ones who never heed Jah warning. Never live to see today. Violence leave a lot of families falling. Never live to see today. A lot of innocent people falling. Now live to see today. A lot of people never wake up this morning.
For the show, oh glória, que essa nossa vitória.
How's your Portuguese?
O rei está sentindo saudade dos seus filhos. Mandou
This is Mauricio Diaz.
sua carta.
It's called Salve El Rey.
Lugares, em frente aos rios e mares.
Yeah, I have to say it to the accent, you know? It's translated Save the King.
O que o rei tem escrito, ele sente falta dos seus filhos. Encontrados serão que se havia perdidos, mas o rei chora, chora, chora por cada um de nós. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos, criança, jovem, velho. Deixe os seus prazeres, voltemos juntos alegrar o coração do vosso rei, do vosso rei, do vosso rei. Rei, louve ao rei, celebre ao rei. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos. O vosso rei vos aliviará, o vosso rei vos aliviará. Rei, louve ao rei, celebre ao rei. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos. O vosso rei vos aliviará, o vosso rei vos aliviará. O rei está sentindo saudade dos seus filhos. Mandou seus mensageiros, leve sua carta. Percorre em todos os lugares, em frente aos rios e mares. Oh, sobre os montes desça os penhascos, clame em voz alta até que seja ouvido o que o rei tem escrito. Ele sente falta dos seus filhos. Encontrados serão que se havia perdidos, mas o rei chora, chora, chora por cada um de nós. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos.
Listen, stick around, I can teach you a thing or two.
Voltemos juntos alegrar o coração do
I'm full of surprises.
vosso rei, do vosso rei. Rei, louve ao rei, celebre ao rei. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos. O vosso rei vos aliviará, o vosso rei vos aliviará. Rei, louve ao rei, celebre ao rei. Vinde todos vós cansados, oprimidos. O vosso rei vos aliviará, o vosso rei vos aliviará.
Go ahead, 66. Do some translation.
Don't like to think about, baby. I don't know what I'd do without, baby. I only know I live and breathe for your love, baby.
This is new music coming at you from Ed and Dottie. Ed Robinson working out with Dottie from SDS. Their rendition of Someone to Love.
It's because of you I was able to give my heart again. You give me someone to love, someone to touch, someone to hold, someone to know. You give someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, oh, someone to know. Oh, baby. I thought I'd never love again. Baby. I thought my life was over and baby. I didn't want to face or even see another day. Suddenly from nowhere, baby, you appeared. You dried my tears. You cared for me, baby. Your love for me truly rescued me. It's because of you I was able to fall in love again. You give me someone to love, someone to love, someone to hold, someone to hold, someone to know. You give someone to love, someone to
I thank you much.
someone to hold, someone to hold, someone to know. For all in my life, I wouldn't let love inside, but
And you Potters give me someone to love.
the day you arrive, oh, now with you by my side, everything is alright. It's because of you I was able to give my heart again, someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, someone to know. Someone to love, someone to trust, someone to hold, someone to know.
For the Hezites, this is Hezron, the man who can sing the telephone book. It's called My Diddler.
Yeah, I thought you was woman. So glad you're with me. Yeah. You know how to carry yourself, ever fresh and so clean. Yeah. And when you walk, it's so clear. You got the strides of a queen. So if you don't mind, I wanna shout it loud. I'm glad I'm your king. Oh, my delight, 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 oh, much. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. My baby, baby. Oh, my delight, 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 darling. Oh, yes. I love you till the end of days. Oh, yeah. I love you till the end of days. Nobody can call your name. You know mix up nothing. No, you talk your mind straight, and you no flex with fake friend. Plus a bag of man a talk and a try, still can't get nowhere. See when you walk, it's so clear. You got the strides of a queen. So if you don't mind, I wanna share it now. Yeah, I'm your king.
Kevin Stew.
This is Natisha's stream. Her rendition of Tonight I Give In. As I give in to this musical therapy.
I ever dreamed would come to me. Somebody walk into my heart, into my surprise. Somebody tearing me apart, and it feels just fine. And it's you. I've waited oh so long to say it's you. You're everything I ever dreamed would come to me. And tonight I give in to the feeling. Tonight I give in to the thrill of loving you. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Somebody turn my life around, and I'm not the same. Suddenly I don't hear a sound, only your name. And I really need you. Tonight I give in to the feeling. Tonight I give in to the thrill of loving you. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Yes, tonight I give in to the feeling. Yes, tonight I give in to the hold. So hold me. Tonight I give in to believing, darling. I'll hear you say, you always say. Somebody walk into my life,
Tonight is very clear as we're both standing here. There's so many things I want to say.
This is the man from Hawaii.
I will always love you.
Goes by the name Fiji.
I will never leave you alone.
A J-Vibe production.
Sometimes I just
The glory of love.
say things I might regret. It breaks my heart to see you cry. I don't wanna lose you. I could never make it alone. I am the man who will fight for your honor. I'll be the hero that you're dreaming of. We'll live forever, knowing together that we did it all for the glory of love.
There you go.
You keep me standing tall.
Jamaica of the Pacific.
Help me through.
That's right.
I'm always strong when you're beside me. I have always needed you. I could never make it alone. I am the man who will fight for your honor. I'll be the hero that you're dreaming
Son of Miss Joanna Marie.
You call home and stay.
So the producer of the last track
You told me you need
would call the singer and producer of this track Auntie.
I wanna be close.
Just out of respect.
I didn't know you needed
This is Miss Joanna Marie.
some rope.
Her rendition of Maybe We Can Try Again.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew. I want your body next to mine.
I want to be close to you too, Joe.
I've been staring at your photograph, wondering where you're at today. I've been hanging by the telephone, hoping that you'll call home and stay. You told me you needed more walks, more talks, more feeling close to me. I wanna be close to you. I didn't know you needed some roses, some romance, a little candlelight, slow dance. That's not how it's been. Maybe we can try again. Try. Maybe we can try again. I remember all the days gone by, and I'm wondering what I couldn't see. Yeah, baby. I could search the whole world over and never find what you have always given me. I told you I needed more time, more space, more freedom, free to do. Boy, what you wanna do? I gave you no roses, no romance, no candlelight, no slow dance. That's just how it's been. Maybe we can try.
I have one more for you.
Try. Maybe we can try again. Try. Maybe we can try again.
Still is the life.
Some gramps for you as I get out of here. The producer is actually the artist, Joanna Marie, of that track.
Tell the sweetest storyline.
This is Gramps Morgan.
Your tears.
The track is called Come Back to Bed. As I get ready to get to bed,
And your footsteps.
look forward to hanging out with you guys tomorrow night. Same time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Same place right here, kevinstew.com.
I can't find the moment where we went wrong at all. No. You can be mad in the morning. Oh, baby. I'll take back what I said. Oh, yeah. Just don't leave me alone here. It's cold, baby. Come back to bed. Baby, come back to bed.
Yeah, I hear my bed calling.
Come back.
I'm coming. It's Healthy Love Night on a Tuesday night, 10 to midnight, right here, kevinstew.com. Join me. Until then, y'all take care.
Girl, you know you're not a quick forget.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from right here in South Florida. I bid you a good night.
I'll survive on the breath you are finished with, baby. Yeah. And you can be mad in the morning. Oh, girl, I'll take back what I said. Oh, yes, I will.
salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.